abusu apani apani kwa mekwa da bia na na menama na ebusa na ya tese kwakwa bi airport obusu na kwakwa bi kwakwa no ampa no o da ho ho na ye be na yi na me ya aduma fiada
da ho no ani mampo na
kwa me unim da ho
bibi sa question me
na unim
question me question me bisa anya question me bisa ma
no timbio ba so unim da ho
maybe question me bisa me bisa ma
said ye timampo no ye se da ho ye mampo tafo na me fan so bia free ye krom kwan so ba kumase a sana be wura kumase krom no tafo na na ba beto sana se ofri ha so komampo obekwa koto da ho ofri da ho na na chese mampo na wura mu bia mampo hospital wono ofri ekunu ma obekwa kodu ne ntin ofri ne ntin asa sane ofin mu nso na obekwa kodu bosofo ne da ho ehye nem ehye bia nem enti da ho bosofo
police for nom da ba
police for no afri ho bosofo de no mafri ho enti obo be pona na da ho no sane fa so to be do na esi signboard da ho Royal Hotel ekrom na wanya ne ba bi kona obesi hotel fe enti amango sene taya ye ba we de oluma ye ne yayi kase enti de be ko park so to branch ura da ho so de ba bia ye ekofo ado adawroma ba bia ye gu kwan so enti fotro nim by 200 meters from the main road ho na be ye and I said yeah memele da ye ne tie no kame ono abo asenso bo ache was kwa Saturday me here helicopter and no creso MPs no were ye da be makoma nan ye papa Sante Boate ye dwa so MP ono ne Mahama da form honorable Asiama ye second deputy speaker form na ono so ne Mahama da form form na afi ye Mahama
adenso
muwa akoso achem Asante be dia tu so no nua ba ko MP enti omunso Mahama da form na media be ka ho nti be
helicopter na ehia
anti ono no fa ne constituency dia na enka ho no nti over na constituency ni bi onya yi wa ai ba bi foforo so anti eden but menim se sare no na MP ba ko frame be kwa MP ono abora foko do se frame no fai eno ka se kura de ni tie ne ya omuhu ha wo mo hihya de no enti on kura de ahia la be mpeso mo ba mampo yi ahia de so woni MP se kokoso omo ya won kom kokoso ahia de so mba kwasi ada and I'm seeing nyina ye no ka se chale and I'm seeing region no Ashanti mo adwuma ye den the entire man ye den se constituencies in the doors of 47 to try nyi no on the average week bia no wo program by 6 ya this all you be a ope nipa so ho na adwuma no ope I mean the hard when say Kumasi no traffic come na sa be da region mfimfin and to travel from one end of Kumasi to Setafo twam was Santasi anyina mu a ba
abazako for sa from now
so you were jurano pa o sa obi aye for Saturday ba ko ni wadu bi ase o bibi foforo wa Asante achim o bibi Kumasi o bibi wa half so look at it and ye party adwuma wa region sometimes na me kekena de na because the kwan afaso nante no wa kra no o busa ho say kwan be na mfa so be duru ha o tu America sa entina ama na nado dan kwa kufu ado ye ya pese yi na ye no ye nante region nem ne de kwame wo ba be duru Kumasi a wo be hu se Kumasi kwan ba akom ye no bi ane ye ni da so ye ntumi anye na emum se wo se wo travel around Ashanti region na nanim krom ha kwame ekwan bone pa wo mfa bi so this a wunim ha na still abe kwa ba be fa Kumasi ye nim region nem ne de ekwan na doso ano de na nado dan kwa kufu ado amambo anya hwea ma Asante man no
but I like the way anano o capture no say political roles.
Yes,
I like the way
we were not political enough. What I say how there mistakes nyina no kwame ade de nipa ni hunu wa anya no na akoye de hyedam a o twem obede no hu de hyedam enti no de na dankrofo akoma so pa umpeso mu hunu de mistake and I think say Mahama me ade ba kwa me ka kire MPP for say NDC we ne power 2024 abe me ya because onye hwe nso edipa mo ne so bo what I say oba ya Ashanti region kwa do say ne ka wasem
say a year see kwa year na so kuna nini isu a Osuchire ne sebio.
Na need that I say. And my point to cry say, Mahama buy na Ashanti region kwan nya pa Quebec.
Yeah.
But buy and I do draw to the sense will be any problem on that.
Okay.
And one who class on why. So school news ya tia mass for better na kwame.
Yeah.
Na do de double tracking kwa buy intino. Ya momo classroom abrosan ba kwa 24 unit classroom 24 na te say Mahama day school no a osisi the number of classrooms e wo.
Okay.
You we say momo a 12 unit classroom block bill. Yes dormitory ema TI mass. Toilet facility be ba na modern one am say momo mienu. And ema ye no TI mass no te say dey aye wo.
University
school yes here da bi.
KSTS.
Yes. E see Mahama school no be miensa. Enti obi betra ha na mo see school da.
KSTS so
yes kwame wura school nim and to tia wonim.
Onse
kwame de wura mu keke kwasra wo mo. Na bo so mo say mo infrastructure mo ncho na ni so. School no si aza no asase no mu nie. Enti na compact no ho. Enti na ma hu say ya adwuma wo school mpa.
I see.
Enti do be honorable seka I heard him one day no make case say mo ya akufo ado mo ba me constituency school ba ko me de ka asama. And that school no nim say Ashanti na population does me nim say
yeah.
Dining tia. What was the school sir? Near Kacho says the most highly populated in the region. I should tell you something.
And one of the highly sought for.
What I say? Enti Melanado se kwame ye nam region nim there. And I me Adam for NDC di be consultant on run training programs you know na bia na kontakwa 2024 sa last year and onya adwuma kakra be obaye na region nim. No ba ene se so kokumawu ezo akofija asene nsuta okoma mpone ade a okone nam saa mpotem ho kakra bi kwan aye ono ba mo me nka no kre na ze akufo ado na Ashanti region wa ye bi amamu on one side of the region no
no me kom you come ampoi and provision say find them so and Saturday you can say for main road now and no bebre a year or ho ni sadama nti yankofa dropping no so na kwenda house no so yanfa dropping and na driver no cross onim sa kwan no and na fa dropping e fire fear near do atwa you hu as ahanyin suta
mo jiran suta
no say ahanyin suta no say eh na no mo ya ha kwan fefe no say
ana ko fa driver na onim na ji sem na say o ka so ko dwabe na okra de otwa mu ko fa ejo so pa nka duru ho na no afa bomure na kwa free bomure ko si asonoma so nkwanta da asphalt ya to ho no
o my is one so
ya ye na kama polished and okra de no ne kwan a me fa se ko fijo badwuma ya de to aba dem say the latest one o ye pa ya to aba no
oh I see
so ho na o free ho so a no mba bi am fa no ye ho so free mu a kwa me oduru ya airport runabout a ejo so kra kwan wa so I find you so akọ na kwan wa do airport runabout for the Kenya ase
okay
we do Kenya ase abrem station ho but na filling station ho bo sore kwan ba bia obi ni ma sore won akofo ado aye kwan to wa akosi ntonso obekwa akosi tobutu na chi
I see
and do free Kenya ase ntonso less than 10 minutes
wow
na ujira ntonso na ukọ mampon and kwan aye kwan ma ujira ha ase sia ba bia me no ujira otu ka na akoma mpo men ha ho nko airport runabout ekwan wa otu ka otepata so duru afa be pojansi ne twam se akosi barekase ne kosi offense asphalt ya ye akosi offense gim no oduru offense ada no ho afa bo aman oduru bo aman a do kosi agona
I see
enti ye ka se ye ka kwan ne ade na ete de make no de ye politics no ye mfomso ho na so kwa me ye tikrum ha na ye di se ya no nyina ye krum na sa kwan do a meka nyina akufo ado ye goye entedru ba bi a se de na no meka se nkrofo kasa ma manage ye gi atum se ne ma ne bi kam no na ye show appreciation so say ye bi kana aka bi a me friends and dem ba ba enti kwam ye no na me ya aduma me me da se de na o kan ye behwe obi anim obi a meja me na me ne mabusu ayensi oluman na me gi di se Jano Queria campaign no the Akano. Come in a mere Monday, Edio. Monday, I say about lunch baby. I support 2 MPP registration, you know, exercise. Me pese be di organizer dey na chese me djuma dey no na ehase no eno ntemre permanent fanto abonten wa fidie so but me draw attention say nyame aduma juada a holiday bibi be ba so nte brada ba oni ye wa aduma here ye be interview na ya chire mu de ntia de be no juada na ye be ɛho nkɔmmɔ ɛbɛdi ne Tuesday. Say na de aye da ho yɛntimi mɛka politics bebree nti mɛhyɛ ɔbɔ sɛ biribi ba so.
ɛna no pay wo hɛ newspapers na Honorable Samuel Abujinapo na ɔka sɛ mining no sɛ enema bebree wɔ ha sɛ ɛnkɔ yie koraa na ɛba newspapers no ame review but yɛntie nsɛm na ɔka.
Well, first of all, I think the suggestion that exogenous or global factors do not affect a country, that suggestion, we must be honest and we must keep faith with our countrymen and women and be bold to say that is true, that is correct. Global events affect countries everywhere in the world. That is a fact. It will be disingenuous, dishonest, and if you allow me, unpatriotic for anybody to suggest that events outside our country will not or do not affect our country. They do affect our country. Today, in India or Sri Lanka, I think, one country like that, I read it in the international news, is taking a day off, I think Wednesdays, as a holiday in order to reduce fuel consumption. Because as a result of the Middle East crisis, their fuel importation, petrochemical importation is disrupted. And therefore they've put in this measure to safeguard their citizens. So that is a fact. Let's as politicians, let's call a spade a spade. Let's be frank, let's be truthful. That is a fact. Secondly, our friends from the other side, the NDC, at the time of COVID-19 and the Ukraine-Russia war, said categorically at the highest level that it doesn't affect us. They said even Ukraine is 17,000 days away, this, that, and so on and so forth. And therefore, it ought not affect our country. Let us call out that hypocrisy, that political hypocrisy. Let's condemn it. And let's say that it was clearly a ploy to win the votes of the Ghanaian people.
You feel there should be some apology from the current government?
Well, that's up to them. But the truth is that what is happening today vindicates the Akufo-Addo administration. When the Akufo-Addo administration said COVID-19 and the Ukraine-Russia war affected our national economy and brought about many of the problems we had. It is not the only reason, it cannot be the only reason, but it impacted our national economy. For those who said it didn't and are now telling us that it does, for them, it's for them to explain to the Ghanaian people, but it's the dishonesty in our public life by some individuals and group of people whose sole motivation is to get votes. But that is one thing. That's one thing. That said, I think the more fundamental, most important point which should be made is that true leadership is tested not in comfort times, not in better times, not in favorable times, but in tough times and in times of crisis. History has taught us over the years that leaders rise up to the occasion in times of crisis, and citizens expect a lot more from their leaders in times of crisis as we have it today. Within a space of just 2 weeks, we've had a spike in petrochemical, the price of petrol in our country. It's a spike. And clearly, I'm not an economist, but the economists will tell you that not too long from now, we're going to have the spiraling effect. You are going to have transport fares go up. You're going to have inflation go up. You're going to have the cost of living crisis in our country exacerbated. It's going to get worse. It's going to happen. And this is where leadership is called upon. In 2008, during the global financial crash, President Kufuor rose up to the occasion, broadcasted to the nation, removed taxes on oil, on rice, on essential commodities in our country, and attempted to give some relief to the Ghanaian people. At the time of COVID, We all saw it, fellow Ghanaians. President Akufo-Addo stood up to the occasion. Free electricity, free water, brought about all kinds of measures for the vulnerable, fed the vulnerable, worked a formula out which ensured that healthcare workers were given tax rebates, generally gave incentives and relief and a welfare package to the mass of our people. This is what President Akufo-Addo did at the time of crisis. President Kufuor has done it. Today, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom has just approved £53 million to support British citizens in the purchase of oil for heating during winter. Countries across the world are putting in place measures to cushion their citizens. Our government should also step forward, especially so when in opposition they even had prescriptions. They said we can use a stabilization fund, we can use a sanction fund, we can use a sovereignty fund, we can remove taxes from fuel, and that we can take out about 8 out of the so many taxes on the fuel accumulation of pricing, which will bring about relief. What the government should do is to step forward and bring about relief and cushion Ghanaian people, as President Kufuor did, as President Akufo-Addo did, as other leaders are doing today across the world. Well, the hypocrisy of their politics and what they did for me is one thing to be commented upon, but in my view, is tangential. The most important thing is that they should show leadership as President Kufuor did. They should show leadership. The government should convene an emergency meeting. They should convene an emergency cabinet meeting to discuss the situation and find a way of bringing relief to the Ghanaian people. Because at the end of the day, what is important is the welfare of our countrymen and women. They should find a way of bringing relief to the Ghanaian people, especially so when in opposition, they had all the answers. Thank you so much.
Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapor is the former minister for Lands and Natural Resources, right on Pure 95.7. I'm saying some more can as ampa and then what better say near my coso abruche and in Susan Subia our Ghana economy no idea na udintro na entities for no a campaign didi another attempt can sempi and so ni some is no HSM nema bi ekoso e obabia no e ne ho Susan so a e Ghana so now kwakwe be hu a story bi wa I think where Greg sent me. Okay, it says I won't pretend our own people are involved in Galamsey, Mahama. Meaning, so I can say President John Mahama has acknowledged that illegal mining, widely known as Galamsey, involves individuals across political and traditional structures, warning that the fight against the militancy will be difficult but must continue. He made the remarks during a meeting with the organized labor at the Jubilee House in Accra on Tuesday, the 17th of March. The president said illegal mining had deeply infiltrated the Ghanaian society, cutting across political parties and local leadership, making efforts to combat it more complex. And this is in quotation. Illegal mining has eaten into the fabric of our society. And I must say, it is not only a menace to our society, but it has evolved. It has involved a cycle of traditional rulers, political party appointees, and everything. Now, he noted that operators often shift allegiance when government change, allowing the practice to persist. Even when one party changes, those who are running some operations who went to one party will go to the next party and say, now that you have come and take over this operation and let's share. We too will be getting something small. This is what we are doing. And so I don't kid myself that we don't have our own people involved. All right. Now, me imagine not pay.
Me Joshua Burukwa.
What's saying?
Nyamiadum boko.
And the president I came. Say the important na yekase President Kufuor eji nema bi tumu epa ho acho. Okay. And would you say idea president aja tumu akase Galamsey no nyese bia ye moye homodi o sand trust kra kan say na imufo no ekwa na omo face resistance enti ama adwuma no ayedin pa nti wano awagya to say onwan nkrofo ebidum aka ho na ma adwuma no enye na na etense obi ho ha na ebia wo MPPD NDC ba power no akono no aka je basa me concession ho debra na enche na so benya ade kakra de abo enti ono asese wagya to say ampa onwan nkrofo bi ka ho na ade no ne kon edin pa ye. Would you see this as genuine admission?
Doc, onim science mo fa galamsey hu no it borders on our own existence. Into obi a odidi agro no na se bi onani na ho na adiwe maka we say sa absolute majority bi na ba adimu no editrimuda ba your body politics no mdodo na sa trimuda no awura your system no mama impunity pa awura your system no ne foforo meka galamsey hu asem se wo ya ban na ba na wo jai ma onkrofo ewurawura mu sa awie a edu ba bia ne ko ye den eti unya opportunity pass wo se o reset de de ka ba ye nka nkrofo nkra fa huhu emfiri ba bia na se kan ne se MPP for ne eti se nyame aye wadom na ndisi awie ni dia na che se eno anu no ko bi kura nsi site because site ho biem kura na so ya MPP ni na enkeno anu by se wo jai ma nkrofo no asif se ho na mo nkope sika enhwe mo ho kakra time be sadwe onse maka se so obi wura sa de aduma ne foforo no sa nkrofo ne begu krom ha ne foforo no bonso aye no ho security ewo sa place so enche bia na enye concession papa bia na bia obi be asase bi no waje bi wo ho ancha oje asase ne bia ne foforo kra de bia oje a odema obi no oye wo ho na afedi onu akwa high excavator wo ho na onu afedi obehu ya se wato excavator baako no obi so obeye sa de na obeto baako no no ohu se se baako no emma no de tigisu onya be 9 na odri wadru baako a okwa danim no at what point na be stop no at what point and obi si sa tangent no so no okwa afedi e ba bia ne na yikoduro no anya form level ni bio na ni akohwe baby o jai sa de no from day one o de hard no kra na ye nkaman ho eniema na wo sa ban yiye ema system no mugu no ye ka bia em se ne foforo no wanfa be se o jai ma de bi eka ho saa ne ko ba di ho sa kokoo ye omudi adi agree onim ne impact benya the next season no sanaka ne na ultimate 800,000 metric tons wa hwe ya ebeye dem se obenya even 600,000 metric tons every sasabre e wo hui se obi kwa akodo ni kokoo ho a okobobusia na de akodo yentua ne kana the school fees grant mintua na ote ho a ye ka didi agro no okaso okodo ni kokoo ho ne obobusia na de akodo okaso okogu kokoo no so ne also okobobusia na ode akoye what is the motivation pa ne say kokoo farmer kwa akobobusia say ode koye sa adwuma ya eno na beboa say the next season no ebeso no motivation be ya wa hwe kura na wa se oti ho na kokoo farmer na yire oka kire ne say okobobusia akodo kokoo ho a say warija ye na aba enei kokoo farmer esme kobobusia me ba na tifie we na wo hoi commitment ne light bill kura na abeya ontimi ntue na wo se o kobobusia enenso busia kokoo farmer ka ne busia bono ye bono kokoo krachi ne ene kokoo krachi we ekura ben ase pa na kokoo krachi wonne se wabie ne pro so wote ho se kokoo krachi na dwane enti sa busia no okobo afri hen na se want bi so akobobusia na anye na se 1 million na ekoduru ye no eso tia na koduru bi a 500,000 what is our mind on mase no because to lose you do $10,000 per barrel per ton for cocoa no na chese obo 1 million near tina $10 billion 10 billion cocoa kwa ana cocoa so ni activity a yemfa dollar ne taye eti hu sika ba no eti na dem bia unya cocoa syndicated loan na balloon economy no na se wo ko free 1 million na tiba 500,000 kra also who say one lose senke 10,000 per ton one lose $5 billion sa sector where did agro ya first sector where ni agro tina na any brand e ka obi tinchan ya ana de ekofa sa de we nyina bai eye ya trimude kro ya etiyen who say the next season ahead of us Ghana ibetimi ayemobo because say yentimi ahete 600,000 metric tons expected revenue from cocoa no e di asembeba na say wabu obi abam titru ba bia wo kakoye why na anka bi obi a na President Mahama so appointment from day one because Mahama nani ana ho na appointment omo yeye omu odo omu tutu pos I was say the oye ententem animu ye reshuffle wahanya ebe hye ne kon unim hwe
area benafize
se ofa finance minister edema honorable Atoforce now honorable Atoforce the oka wo finance nyina because that time on na shadow minister etinsam no na e ka ne on ne eti etu wie na so de koma no sa wia aka ne so because the oka ne nura no eno na abai onu akogina mu ka akoko yi bi onye wie yes amano even finance minister na yes agi koko no free agric e de kom kan ho no osa bagina parliament say yenye hopeful say de ba bia emu be ye de onu ni advice and a president de kan e bi say wa uni asase ko ja asase no because the figures were from there and na uni any moral right on earth as obi a why minority leader at a parliament one kra na minority leader at a point in time be majority leader our parliament and say na wo sa be minority biem and na emu ache and na speaker openly ono so ka oho figures be na wo pa na wonim e wo Ghana ha figures be pa and na sa ba mu wie no wo be gina parliament first budget do kan ni say one recap we we na cap da so no ya remove cap ya remove it say scar ebe bu o man no mu de na say na buy ba akuru de ntri mo de pa na say de ya won cap education ya won cap energy side no sika abade eti eye den ne education minister say teacher for e wo say nke etua mo ka ye ntimi ntua mo ka na nya mi o mo nko finance minister adan sa to kwa ne free free hen sa to kwa ne free hen
na na mentase
de aniama bi wom na de wom a honorable say edunkati aka ya o ma anya ntumu no o say wo ambitions so be president no for appointment to ho because the assembly party no the assembly ban no e na adusu okwa e na adusu
mentase ade a friend say education minister say you tell okay finance minister now what are education minister
or say finance minister or say one wa block it
no
na say no or say what they've agreed on because we are committing on say or education minister and na we ya budgeting for sad we ya on cap education near me kra ma wusi scale be busu cho it is one of the promise akwa confirm crofo afaya ma promises nyina wie na e ma or say enyo ono akọ finance minister ho. And the moment a governance ebe drew sa tangent no so amamu mu nsema enough from kra he say koku asem ba yi obusa Greek minister also enyama enfame ho emfa ne ho no e kire say onka bi because ye free no why na nim say cocoa enka ya agric asem it is said the whole agric no anya involved in cocoa na say agric minister na say ministry no obi free mu ma emeka cocoa asem ibi na wo say nka finance the defend say finance no mo e meanwhile finance kuro yai in spite of niema oye as official board we on the down ni nyina banks a organ na nyina be hye nsem ni ade nyina awie no ya sa the defense api ne so defense ya di amano finance minister on say oye defense minister on ya di amano
no
defense minister free mu no on ya di mano
na ato ye nyu
1990 na enkura ni free mu ewa nyamefo mu kransi omu kopɛ ye view also no na awia no na wo so rush ba parliament ebeka ho asem because na a defense minister all because of planes ne to turn ade ade na efi say saa ne ma no e wo say wo obi a at least oye ina ya di defense na gya no enti ya appointing a new defense minister kura ye say daddy e na wo ho na wie na asa agi koko e kopi ne so wie a na koko mu ba nsem a agric for so mu nka bi why not say agric obi free agric atiesi koko onu mu so okamu asem na ni nyina ekoba na besi finance no so beka oye one of your beka ba akopa bi na wagya hoko eti obi a o defend o so oye da bia na o kyerkyere mu no o kyerɛ mu kwa okwaje bibi free finance ho a ne ya tuka ne de kokoko ase na ono akone na anam ho anu aka bia na nkrofo bu afu na okon ba bi waye na ye wi and when was the last time ate otuko no nka se oka kokoko ase mbi ne budget na sa oso okoko on the runs wie no asa te say sa afu no de begu sa aka na de ko enum no enti won de just afoforo ba
no hanes man
okko so on the agree for dom so munye enti finance wana finance minister say obobusia 17 billion and the ditwetua adwumayefo ka 17 billion enti rolling over next year anu kura na akatua na ma no enti the next financial year na da yanim no all projects is what bebo busia saying ena de aye I can't say mu echire say there is no need to force the dollar at the point o core sectors of the economy onye ho hwe on touch agric on touch industry na de yakura wo industry say ne se yakase say president akase industrialization e betumi ayi free sa ne ma waka edzeni wakoka galamsey asebie industrialization be ye free industry no de ye besi ana de ho dada sa osia fe na besi dia it will take you not less than 2 years to complete senior ebia wo kan etia no na ye abemu asem na aka ana de wo ho dada no ade bi wo ho na wo ye ni etufo na wantia hwe one district one factory egu hono unim say a finance minister ya yi na no oye minority that time even yikura no so mu de ma o exemptions so kai pa exemptions because won wa kwa cultural private person bi say o ma ye factories e wo krom anu o ma ba anu o ma ya do point bi eti e bi o here exemptions say sa machines dey o dey ba dia yes abaji ni duties ne sa ne ma na ka ho a na dwuma no ontimi nya enti ma no saa eyi no yetimi calculate exemptions ne ma ne yese sika Ghana ye lusu meanwhile say sa machines na ma factories na enya adwuma and so then minority leader ne oye finance minister also want me ka one district one factory no asem bi because on the ejijina mu say on play that as e be ma sa factories no exemptions and the what ba o second year mu ni enkanye bia anka de na ehokura de na ni kwa say ye dey because honorable Alanche Matia oye sa de no share sa anema nasem Onwa de ne plan of industrialization. Eba President John Dramani Mahama ho. Wanko no. Eko ka kire say mani so ade hunu ewo industrialization hunu a whole document ni ode amount. Enti die na na si ukwan say enka ba fa no kura say bra. Ghana fo nyina ai. Ye wo ebia minister ho de. Na mbom ayi bia wo industry hunu ade a plan ya ebia onabo ede ebai. Ehun dwumadie no ebia onna eye. Ede na nka eboso. Na matimi abie manua ka kire Ghana fo nyina ogina parliament finance minister. Ese one district one factory no stage is a wo bia chese wo mfa ho wo nye hwe. Hospitals e wo nyina agenda 111 wo mfa ho wo nye hwe. Na omu ya food soldiers ma wo no. Omu so omu pa adwuma no. Wo say sa factories ni irrespective of stage adu bia no wo mfa onko ho no. Say so omu so omu pa adwuma na adwuma be ya. Enti ni asifo afo mu na money ho na ye ntuom ka no.
All right.
Say minister bie na no. Aka kire Ghana fo nyina say ya fan crofo bi over then 100 400,000 o man ko interview. Say on there is also on record. Enti say on fast an crofo no man ko interview na. Say unsu untimi roll omo on board. Na ye ntua omo ka no. Meanwhile finance minister so akobo bosia 17 billion. Ena dia so eya no me ho akatua no mai enti wo jai kokoo sa wo nso na finance ne ye ode o na say the next season the anka wo expect from kokoo no wa nya. That is where the difficulty is.
Right.
Last one on this because a link to fuel near that on say time bia baby a dollar da no e ho na fuel da enti me can say ujai offer dollar no to 10. Oil marketing company there, the margins no working on. One say a buying $1 near 10 cedis to $1. Fine. And now one other dollar never ban near the crack oil no petroleum products naba. Fine. On your bar or the margins at to two we are what in the baby. It will be that's all say ton petrol 10 cedis per liter because dollar no nam sa range na on your ho but adena the other flip of it every a year are buying fees and levies bia utum I was saying bia so te because what the oti petrol no so ba sa say diesel no nam 14 15 16 diesel no nam sa wi na say even at about 10 po na say DVLA charges any niema wo ho nyina ne board de fra ban na mu e ba ne board ya e da no force drivers want so meanwhile ekwan a wa wonim sia project say ekwan akese e de da ho de contractors we nye na mom enketu akeka drivers nam so omu ho ba kire omu no ye de bibi fra ne drip machines ni ya to dada ya training for dada na mumfa nye sa adwuma no nti say 2 years ya na nkeda ya nim besi sabri e wo se nka nkuro nketo amu akwan nyina wanu asem ka ya na muguso na moye se uji ni nyina wo so de akoma Nilante Vanderpool honorable o de akwhye ne sa enne hwan na ati Nilante nka ese drip no eye den se eye den
so mo man ska fu akronya stand
it is one no complain a na dia asem de eka
to force there
ade a wo se nka wo ye a reduce fuel consumption no ade a wo hu se ye ene na fa de ye speed ramps o speed ramps so na ship petrol pa speed ramps se wo consume 100 speed ramps bet media call 120 she margin that so.
All right, now my info so I'll come back to you, but I don't know whether now our neighbors are no longer Togo, Burkina Faso, and Cote d'Ivoire. Seems like our neighbors now Iran and then the United States and Israel, and we don't now belong to the Atlantic Ocean. And the ocean is straight up. And you go for Giddy Beam. One is a designer.
Man, I'm the amount. What is no more heavy?
Mischief.
I mean, mischief, and chat here for. Sir, first, no near Sagana, dear, so I seem to be affected, but I say, my woman, a baby affected, and I just saw mobile, and I say Ghana map and I said, drone for fro. I don't know, a man, I see, so what I say. Come, President Mahama, some no cocaine, a man and young one, say, or sitting in Crawford on a galamsey. Now, President Mahama, me dear, me said, not the behind him, we are said because I don't know why. O my vice president near Penasem say or co TV swa said now comport on home composer near Penasem. But when he came to frontline politics from running mate to be seen, I mean, you need that. President Mahama, I don't know why. Yes, I don't trust him. And to me, not the BI ECBI. I don't know why. I have a lot of respect for him. We shall not want to cross a function as President Mahama today. So now, Cochana, the way about me. Personally, he doesn't know who I am. But I said, irrespective, no, to Mugdona, the way he comes down to greet everybody, I like him.
Yeah.
What you say? But I said no credit. That one, I've never trusted him. And to me, I give you a dear
before. On trust you, but next be a wire name will be because you build on trust.
Oh, deep sense of feeling and understanding. A small can be you can read behind it. Or catch it. What I say, and politics, enemy. What me could be no, say, come on, no, to but to my scam, but him say, election, I cannot demand on support, but on Pessoa could never be a cast on support, but be now own him there. Oh, yeah, you take it and go, no, I don't why here. Counter, what I say, auntie, I have seen him in that spectacle. Kwame, and the President Mahama said, you listen and crow for you. But, and Okra say, could you prepare? Or pray regional youth organizer when this Mukruma or say small scale miners. One of your convenor said, I could for a time no egalam say.
Okay.
Now, could you prepare constituency be Kunya issue and afraid Munipa will watch me machine as they could for some Conagalam say, no, your nanyas cannot crank out maybe. Ya brebra swa. Could you prepare this by or your galam say more? What I say, and I was then one bata some you know, someone or more monitoring there. Enti machines affairs na nkrofo mo din komodi chese no mo kroma nya ba bi mfa machine nya adwuma na sa akodwom nkrofo na ndisi for no tumi ka se family nya mfa nkoya adwuma na yen hwew enti no krese NDC for na ye adwuma no unfortunately for this country we have a president and also betumi ayaboa ye ne say of Brim River oba spend $35 million say o mabrimu ani ate Kwame abraho sam ne say Galamsey ntokwa na ye kono apart from say sinsu na say no aye hu sinsu na say ye worried no ade pa nim say di nya ne say chemicals no e wonsu no emwaye and the President Mahama ni EP for so mo de copper nano technology biaba I don't know about tinsu no kwa me nano copper technology no ase kire ye ba kope the copper particles no it is able to bind onto all other particles are suspended in water a process a friend of flocculation. Na water on density said you mood root it is our particles no so nano copper no bind it to an heavy it becomes denser than water na sink it onto the riverbed and the chemicals na kasa na mensu na ni ahunu fini bibia na koda nsu na se enfri nsu nim se fish ani je no mu gu nsu nim na kwa mo ani je anom ko nsu na se do mo na bobo ade no ebesa stay up. So dust no particles no dey but chemicals na metals na yesu hon sa mercury any ade influence him. Mahama is spending $35 million to sink these things onto the riverbed to give the impression the optics to the people of Ghana so much fighting Galamsey. Do you know why he's doing that? Or yes, sir, because on percent this if beja Galamsey ne because the source of dirtiness and chemicals no Galamsey no. Once the people of this country knew who says so now their friends Galamsey no anyhow so that we spend $35 million ama bring money at tenanga and this for any sika gumotom no I cost spend some $50 million no they are River Pra no they are Fabia $100 million no the coffin sa this is how he wants to deceive the people of this country so Galamsey come we a president I bet me don't want to know so we president to can small bet me aginadi because APM I no crack come here say Kwame minerals say won so much say manganese copper ne sulfur ne there then many pa ho de no calcium ne ade no sa copper na no you know technology ebe sinking nyina and so water no any mineral bia anti maame na yesu ne say wote akurase wontimi nsansuo num no kwa me no besansuo anum ahodenim jesa osa akopɛ nsuo a yɛde mineral gum jesa ka som ne ade obenum nsuo na ne bones nyina ye wiki only hydrogen and oxygen and aka ana yɛde ma nti wa kwa me nsuo num nsuo kekase nsuo no say yɛfunu say liquid num nsuo because of the minerals nti say what demineralizing nsuo no na say obi odo afu no na wonfa na ntu so onum nsuo akwa me onom dey. And this is the president we have today. Our person dey ho to no so. So also reset to man no man can reset na me ya me no ya adwene because the reset kwa me ofon okura ukobo reset oni ba bia do ba kwa ne ma wo so nyina na be firi so. We have inherited a country from the Ekufo a time you who say amamu ho. Kwa me ne ma papa aba o ma we mu dodo na after Rollins dia de ne who say ne bie democracy mu empuntuduma ene o ma ba no so mo reset kwa me he no de kwa nye achi na o ne o mu PNDC ko jaye no anom de ko. You can start from where your father ended and end at where your father started. Tije Kufo be fa Ghana na nya no be ye ne ba o ma be fa na ba bia Kufo be fa free ho na Mahama so de kwa na Ghana fo gitu mu ene ye bo dawro na reset say o reset ade papa bi obetu ye bia o reset de yakono echi. That is where we are, because we have sought to progress ya pese akwa anim. Unfortunately akwa so reset mo so so mo no ya adwene. Then no very set because Mahama before so free power no. Na Mahama amamu na nkura ntua school fees. No mutua utility. Ye ba ye na Akufo Addo be yi free ho mo so reset ampa no be o side utilities are cost back to secondary school and create ya. How? Yes. That's the reset. Mahama o medi ade no. Na koko akuafo omuma. Anya hwe kra no na do be like ne betimi nya scholarship. Na bebre matifie ene nyame ya adoma ma Akufo Addo aba ma na wo papa koko su ya nso wo school no de ntwan scholarship because nkra no ko enye obi a nko secondary school free na emum ene Mahama about to the sense Akufo Addo time no de no ba ye na papa ne mo sika mfa ne banko university no wa reset to the point say ne koko wo papa do a won tua ne ka o school fees nso a first na nka papa tua no tertiary ya tum by 40%. Utilities na Akufo Addo tua o tertiary wo twam wo papa ne betua so wo ye koko ku ani ba wo benya free education na we secondary ba be kwa kwatena free tertiary wo tra anye ya. That's the reset Mahama has given to this country. And yes you ana dia now so ya na be ka che na dollar kwa me say the real value of money is not the exchange rate but the purchasing power. I don't know man who sika ho den so be say na dollar no yes okay na e den to atwa boda ho say 10 but 10 no na o say and then open no you must say na ye nya ho mfaso because o ko kra de free abruchira ba de kwa me obenya mfaso obehu na wo de na awudi wa bra ba wo bonyina wo bo no krum ha no sa ade na yema because the award brucha first no man news kakakra no ka me no de bre wa anya hwe kura na nya $1,400 and I to me the tobi bi ade to me the to the ente so ya tum ana Mahama say na the dollar number 10,000 for no nya 1,001 o purchasing power cost and ase kofom because again and commensurate prices with the exchange rate said na Canada no say state of living I improve and I say ejina ba bi ejina. Unfortunately for you we spend the channel every day kosoro the same cocoa farmer na kwa me what in cocoa so na minority MPC ba ya omo engage omo say asem person catch president Mahama and say odo ka kudos to honorable anodom Prez or lead minority for na omo na ma na omo ko manso area ne ade akọ engage omo encourage hwe sa cocoa kuane no na wabeto ne kanea mu close to 40%. Sa cocoa kuani kro na kwa me ba watu nzum sa cocoa kuani na transport kosoro enti wo pa no obama ni di yi wa be ka kire ne se ne rekoka kwa me map am de ma we also ntiase first no asema ka kire Ghana fo nyina ne se o man we ba bi etine pa de yentumi nkofa ba bi fo asem emfa me bate ho because ye to bomb no kure nru ha na no 7,000 kilometers to had to Russia and I had to Iran 9,000 no and the president Mahama atimi ahwe Ghana fo ani makogina Jubilee House na ano a one nkramofo mpanimfo breaky fast e ho aka atrom say ye nyina ye nyintum sa de akoso owi ase no enya arabofo nkwa na kom na kan nyina the same John Mahama no kwame dabi panindie yeah politics na ye nkura wo or ye pani ba bia waduru no so kasama didie ba politics
first na kasado now we down him say enye correct me wa so you condemn it
e fa na sa
and that was why
and to come into say no yentimi mfa na num asem enya hoto so na num asem sa na pa so kasa ye fa so do etrofo nti o ka ye ntie sa
David what I'm saying is
the president of our country you want to say oh you lie ye ntum
that's what me pache the obi akase mo sa asem na enye ene
menka bi o meka say maka bi o menka bi memegidie ni say oyo pani a na num asem na asem bi o ha wo ka na gu hu fi so wa mpacho amenka bi o ensesa wa not say de sebe wo nim ho hwe no wa watimi akokeka nsem time na Mahama kasa ansem kire Ghana fo say oh COVID news so ko do Harvard ne other international communities no make speeches now can be different from the Ghana no ka kire ene
so in trouble
but you're representing Ghana as a former president and your friends say you do o man we to me be ma kwa me nipa say be the president Tanzania ewu what I say nipa say Ghana has be the president so for you to be accorded that way no you represent us until even after your life as a president no yes man nya adwuma ni ntua akasa akopim so bewu because ba bia obegina bia no we want to see you say Ghana gina da so gina ho do we former enti onko ba bi me kan che say ho mo nto aba nto de oba de open aba ha aba ye bibi foforo papa no otwa ntro sa to the point say ne asema mo kan ye bia kwaso be fight corruption and then no ultimate am say galamsey kan obu no mo kan ma bi ma no na wontumi kwa na kokko to say otu galamsey I'm a bit good to me court because of Galamsey. And now I dream out.
No, would make it.
They have taken one to me to court to say concession. They said the Ibrahim Mahama will be out the two gold now to me will be a mad paper that's no. Almost suspected some crophobia koya was assassins. I won't mean a ma mokoye. Yama concession a ma kwaso ye mo adwuma as a minor emran se so be ma third party bi akwa so koja approve a free ministry or dey because conditions here dey minor no obu ko e dey ma no mu na wo enipa no wo ko na ma approve then we know say free na kro no responsibility na transfer ma nipa we nso entie monitor no almost say won to me say nkrofa koya adwuma wo ha wa koja approve nobody has accused them to me so ye galamsey do sorry no mo dana mabante o kan bibia na won to me na court enipa omo tra omo uma aka che so ba tu krom no aso ba onkrofo wo court nyina ma court mponi wo masem nwie na court no nka so onkrofo no ni fo wo so kra de sebe omo nsem fata se court na muram omo NDC fo na wo ye wewie na ba ka che Ghana fo so onkrofo bia bokro no do omo court kwa me obi ba juadi ene say MPP ni court na de no tun kra obi anim say wo de ye bibi keke because na onkrofo gina court wa me ye no masem. And so this president here and fuel labai want to me and trama on tokana nkoso boso mepe president Mahama on to me command tokana nkoso boso me kra ba kasa afi de agene nsem na say what issues new effect to Ghana so 2 weeks pe and I should to akoba bia akoi kwa me na e boso mentam no say tokana to aso e
now there's this issue that I want to Salam
wada mamengia no mano bwano ani abre obampaye obampaye
do you like football
pa feka krevi Black Star gwande
no this
football say akafa asana
kafa dina abaro
I no krada first time ka say tuli but say baka ka ba so yaba
now me yante kafa say
men na me almost dey the supporting
almost say omo mrabi say if you walk out
time for the before you know Morocco na lady
enti omo walk out no omo forfeit nti say dia for
word that ya wo ball no de na mra no mra fi ada
hona listen me hona me yanta say nipa okay Morocco will help me
na ya wo ball sort no ball pa
yeah ball obi a walk out wa nyere hwe wa ba ma trouble no so ama ya win yeah.
The cap amaro.
Ma organize table abegina ho. And the medals are show mu komu. Apeja trophy e dia mom. Aba ben pepe. Ama nkrofo na ba. Ewia nipa mo se mo sanso ma pa no show mo wie. 53 days. Asa ba say.
Oh, the cap.
The cap
boardroom points.
Me I don't me nyantas yo. Ona it means yana.
Okay, this is the first time. I mentioned for this is the first time I BBC AC say incident, you know. Adia enka fourth referee. I mean referee onyina line this will be na or share other activities on the field. Enka obetime decide they say once I'm walking off the pitch, you know. Enka obe call him matching off with a decided time. It could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But who say omukraso sa kopo omuche say omusamebo. Inde okame kopo bi che say omebo. No obebo no oje. Now you na
me can't mention myself.
No, omo a sa benefits, I don't know if they will be happy. Because the
so man
Morocco for no. Morocco for ya yake. Almost made the
second place. It is a Senegal for the medals or almost from running from Morocco for I think say calf ye when masse. It is something that was a shiny as as ye mood too much. So ye bunko phobia syncophobia. And Kwame, it has been like that. I saw football politics in Africa. It may show when him near more Sebi enye. Kotokone have suffered it in times past. So Ukushia Moroccans and then Egyptians in a referee count, other officials in count. There's any a Azuma else and Mikaze or call about to be our say
Las Vegas only. When is one born at top of knockout. And all you
exactly.
Now some child
it's rather unfortunate, and I don't see how will be able ball our pitch and so now wearing your cap. Now at the end of the day, I strip the OG and near the ama the Sebi.
Okay, so now a footballer. Now so we own football. Yes, the referee control the match at any point in time.
Yes.
The referee the decision and the ultimate.
Yes.
Final. And even severe require honor. Some friend. That's the referee no ko.
That's still now. Obetime decide to say no.
Some
yes, because VR no one to see say Adiana Meji one way or the other.
But the final decision
rests on him.
On him.
He's the decider. He's the judge.
So now, referee no, I was a go for our out.
Exactly.
When Jam Park in the swam and go for that call, I may a couple which one more sign about. Referee, she game Nasa.
As a game Nasa, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oma bebo penalty no. I say
no, ya track
game no so. Ama
yeah, I must go. Referee, I just I'm a pound referee.
Any adrenaline fa.
Now someone okay. Big whatever by neighbor or I'm just alone, so be work out.
But I don't refer to that as a walkout. Can you walk out today and come maybe you cry over Kwame? But here is the case: they came, 4 referees and the other officials were there, and almost cut your mom was a ball born. The referees with D born. Referee no me sure say the report no cross or just say Senegal for Nigeria cap no. Because we're the year to the end.
Let me just say, so we the referee.
Kwame, in most cases, referee no ne match officials no report no. And say BBC yedetna evidence ka. And I don't see how a referee original game no demand ni biye because sebi ye ade no ma other team na ne ya Germany.
Okay, say Miss Tasa on the VR ebano. Say omo use some of the matches I bought her. Omo say Senegal VAR no one of them Ghana versus Uruguay.
As for that one,
okay, and you see Ghana versus Uruguay. Who said? Papa is
semi-final. But the world will not do that. I'm not sure. So why Africa?
Because of it,
that's for that one. That's for that.
First, we can hold news. Never visible. Oh yeah, I did.
Because I saw it on social media first, and then I waited until say me who know one of the media space. Na
I just zero. And I'm saying I did interesting. And so me call BBC, and I'm going to say I don't know how Papa. Me call Caf no more Twitter, and I'm say I'm saying now did
so many days.
Eddie Adiaba, article be say if you walk after, then.
Why not if you walk Article 84?
I just say, I feel I'm sorry. You. I take it for say. You. I take it. That's not a mama show. Now to get it for you.
Walk up. You see, if they were allowed to walk out, now referee no buying a referee can say there be. My walk out here at the end of the day, my pong. Because now Moroccans in the park and so. Nti say referee na to a certain time. So in most cases say yeah, but tournament the extra rules bylaws eba become. Say bia we spend opposing team to spend bia 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the pitch. Na say other team na ma me draw na say other team no work off no ma ye ema wo yete ase. But here is the case, the referee was there. You call him back na almost have boy my referee no continue the match ni wie. Oh yeah the cap na money the be man obi age ni me da akọ no ba bi ni ade na onkro no ba.
53 days.
Fiachi de nkini abofu no. But interestingly here we are.
Okay, I say Maradona, but sometimes it happens.
The hand of God.
The hand of God. Say Maradona, this at a point in time when every accused Maradona, so we used to drugs.
And stripping off there, but it never happened.
Including Pele cry.
It is part of the beauty of the game.
And that's why it's a game. Human elements, human mistakes.
Yes. It makes it so fun. Let's say we because you track when on anka or but that is how it is football. It can't be me ball liga, me referee. Yeah. Because in most cases, level no. Me nyasho so be bet me to referee.
Okay.
A human error. So, my last match be a boy and son me kobo last week. Go born a try a friend is saying line better in C form. As of that time now lines one now no jina line also no. Fan be can be am na chanani. To chanani no be dey who say you go. Other fans jina who say you go. But referee no shine the lines now there say you go. So I decided to calm my boys.
That's how the way I break my nice.
I decided to calm my boys, and I'm catching on and say, look, a human error. It's a referee no 10 yeah for penalty be or Jemaya me who no me tribu say a penalty compensation. So it is part of the game.
So what with 84 no? At the gate.
No. There's all the church. Football.
I would say at together for culpability. Unless otherwise specified, infringements are punishable, regardless of whether they have been committed deliberately or negligently.
Okay,
and I'm saying too. So exceptionally, exceptionally, a match may have to be played without spectators or on neutral territories, or certain stadium may be banned purely for safely reason without any. So I share it away. So yeah.
And your bottom line, Nathan, you I don't know. FIFA now for and FIFA or CAF whoever. I'm a case. I'm coaching. Sure. Exactly. A lot of matches.
There were sanctions, so
even Moroccans grano nkrofo mo yes o mo kofa goalkeeper no ne ho ne ma bi da so they were sanctioned ama ye Morocco national team no grano e ko tua some scabinas mo sa na woni nyina akoso wi
Kwame we no article 82 mum na 84
yo
82 or say if for any reason whatsoever a team withdraws from the competition or does not report for a match or refuses to play or leaves the ground before the regular end of the match without the authorization of the referee, it shall be considered loser and shall be eliminated for good from the current competition. From the current competition. It shall be eliminated for good from the current competition. The same shall apply for the teams previously disqualified by decision of CAF. And he say no some power no mu din say en camera mu no o mo yes na contest competition you open by a final match. And so CAF will now determine say na omo opponent na dey na nkaye omo likely position. Na so move through amoma be we na the CAF no no omo dey aye adwuma no. But as I was say referee no authorization one fan through our pon match na wa you loser but the referee no akwafa wa ba sebra ye nto aso amo ame ato so referee no dumi ka say wa kwa abra wa mpreso enti ade a mo ye no de eya nimguase kase no mo de bre ye no na mo ahwe ye di age so mo di animu CAF na Africa ye dan wo mo fe nkosa de oka no na South Africa 2010 ye semi final no ida se be sa koto aso abo semi final na free ho ana so mo ka chese di third ana for wo de anya hwe kura na ye ko da be ko semi final de auditi wo de tie ye asem ye ko semi final la ana nke anko final nka de ni betumi anya third or fourth and double for no mai na Ghana you who qualified the first African country I qualified semi final the World Cup one of the top 4 no mo fa di o mai because how do we CAF is so to di Senegal pa dia and they say o ma de nyina yi hu free football
but said you man you know or pagams
o say
said you so no free pagams
na bi no
na bi on so am no ayo
off na ko frɛ o mo say
so I don't know bench and I know bobo
coach no was not in full control of say
omo so omo I don't know na ko fa omo ba
so it was Sadio as the captain and I catch omo so mu nyina answer
but the question I mean say during that period the referee call of the match
Dabi okopa choko for mo ba
let's say the match in protest has against Al Ahly finals war Accra.
Yes.
Match stoppable by 10 minutes. They came back and played and they changed it. And this is left for me always say my point there.
As far as the
Tunis rules
that free park and also because they were complaining say obi the chat the goalkeeper. So obi the people try to goalkeeper cry you don't leave the field. You don't leave the field. But ombe boy ema akrazo folk jene ba me nim be akrazo folk na je cap ntia yan strope o mo dia I don't know but
I mean enti you say no yan fa football no to na yan ka Ghana ho kire wa ha me organizer anya fi ne be politics kwa me topic back nya ba ko pa ne aka
na ba ko pa
o de opa ma me nyin kire
ma topic
ma me nyin kire Gregory na Sunday topics no first one o say NDC form call local NHI of kwa me aka say nkai and o ka say NPP appointees should be removed from offices na NDC for control Gregory na mama yi make you know kwa Mahama galamsey
na say you galamsey ni
da bisa say na person to anti football no to
na one and to
na emra fi me kantra kwa me health insurance
we cool host
kwa me health insurance NDC for mo wo ho na mo kofa cash and carry be kum Ghana for na kofa health insurance buy ena ebebi offices ena mo buy na mo farm nkrofo kogun and then mo NDC for crime person mo just mo health insurance ya mo dia MPP for ya adwuma wo manye yi and so dey ba no mo mpani for na parliament they worked out o mo ka say health insurance no e ko to be kuma ye nim ye ko fa ba kra Ghana for be ko hospital ko wu and wo to a ka me hwe adwuma we na ye no politics no NDC for mo ntiase o ma we pampuntu ba bi agina ide for under the Fourth Republic o ma djuma bebro manya ye na MPP for ye djuma ye create no mo ye bi sa ye ntra ma MPP for nya djuma ntra ma MPP o mo ba o de o call district ma enuma be na what district our offices are NDC for na de ba in the last 30 years o mo nka do na minti o mo nka offices here what this to more appointing managers directors do say no mo create here mo me anwe ho mo friend say no ba power nti obi ate ba bia na nipa kura de ne ba adwo so no so this news say mo ye adwuma wa adwo so anye bi wonim say ade mo ye no I'm taking a personal interest in it ya ba power 2017 me am tia konwa zo am no kasa yi me call health insurance so mo mama appointment na me mra regional office am ye adwuma wo ho me hu ya na say my appointment letter me je ye na edma komanso nkwanta cha man say was me call district manager manso nkwanta including pania or that district na no that time DC and crofo so ma me nya adwuma na me free manso they plotted demonstrations Emma BNI officer no that time no when the police commander no share they stopped it as akra no mobile man they said this is something that was imminent it took somebody to send a message to the DC say nipa na wo person do asem kono so adwuma wa your party no nya bi so stop it and the wisest thing or call your friend you to look at your that day I kwano mumie nya na matese e be man adwuma ba he was very smart to for no idea no share chain to calm the youth down say yes here be man ba bi kran to ncha wa ha and so
who could be director kakra
me district manager what I say me wo ho for almost 18 months na kuba ye no and for be frame say the intervention I dey ban pressure we need somebody who can relate well with the young people ya Judy say adwuma na edim say be dey and I met me CEO Dr. Nyas ba ho na me kwa yi bi opatase papa nda bia me refinidi o introduce me chair no say this is my district my regional coordinator for NAPCO no say we are o say no say wa also chairman o say I don't think you know who you are and I'm saying so you have managed over 25,000 graduates our Ashanti region chaos omaye and you think you are just an ordinary person. These are people be afa penny people be at me and material ha me koba me tese toda ho nsem ba kakra but the way I see it, if you are the one managing it, you must be proud of yourself. And tinap kuba na me jai health insurance no so the okase na silent I didn't spend so much time na me buy nti do mo ye no say obi mfiri ho no enye da bia na kwa me obi free ba bia ansa no akoya adwuma ho toda politics na ye no MP ya MP yan ka no kora nche ye ho asokware mampon obetumi atena asokware mampon munta ka bepa adwuma mankrofo MPP fo nka ho asokware mampon why na adin baba be NPP MC ya so ma NDC for opportunity because votes na obenya no mana afoto na no call contest obedi MP an MPP fo nkwantimi ba ne we aso assist dia obenya NDC fo bi omoboafu ana so so ne do wunti enti owi a return favors na ebi be kwa NDC side. If you are not careful, about yourself MPP 40 or the NDC 4 and I said NDC 4 who make us or the BB MPP 4 but to win political power at the local level sometimes it involves a lot. And to nipa na o ma obi adwuma transfer one you might not know say papa no kro tin kra no bampo no our health insurance CEO no for you know kra nipa de ne ba no so no so na kra abi binti no de ne ba nti duru ba bia yem fa sa de meme ye do ma yi me ne ma ye nyina nya me 2009 ye lose power awo bampon na omo ba power no no abo sha man na me fa de currency NDC fo akwa to health insurance dem me na me ko bie ye me na me ko bu padlock na me bie na me catch omo say some ye be ma omo because e dey ntia me ma kwaje me health insurance card me ma kwaje he card me pia service ese rende ma wo so party aba power di o mo bi nya me ko be me ho no abo shaman ai na ono ho na me catch say ono abo me gira ha radio so and I'm saying ha mo mra na mo me fa me and if you like I'm even coming to your office ono NDC for ampa we open the door man crofo ye adwuma ato abawie ye na o mo lose power yi enipa no ye manager ho ko na me no ko na kira de o monica Jesus so I know him oba mo ko ye manager if man for so mo penade no be no answer be ya na ya transfer net no ko ba bi na nipa foforo abete kuba so na you nipa friend say mo crofo beti na that is the best way to do it but say service ya ba je ya tua ya premium health insurance Mahama twan troche Ghana for say obakura premium no wo insurance wo untua bi between 2013 and 2017 committee kura wan tibi a mo man ko say feasible and as nye feasible mo sa akwa abana wo so mo bi ma ya adwuma ma service am tua premium da bia no me here office na omo ni nkomo what is wrong with you what you just so person behave to say or man yamodia enti ade a minority for ye no ye bo ma baso say almost say juma topic on the ba say free office bi office me say office send no ma create Ghana NDC for mo kan kire ye juma do do na efa nipa Ghana no twetwe die health insurance nie youth employment nie o say dey there na oka da we can na ka so de bi kan wa mamo there na mo ba mo aye de mo no say dey abada mo ba na mo de ye ikua bibia no akwa me NDC for ayom deserve mo ka che say ye free offices no metra ho and dem am ka asem be create no e be 24 hours kwa me 24 hours no kra na wo say mo ba ye no and okra na office kra ntimi nya 24 hours so be ko 8 hours we mo yan crofo adwo mu di am me yanwe ho
who is was it yeah
Kwame ma menchia na menchia otifo
da one customers that we have
cause ndo be to mu na dem
panel members share ma menchia Iran na Kwasi Kwame I'll condemn that in no certain terms. I will not sit here and I'm pretend to say the omukoye no ya papa. But what I will not buy into politics I mean here or there. You see, Kwame, that is the problem both NDC and MPP. Immediately when we win power, Bahakwa edi kan pa ne say ye Jeffrey MPP for and I say Jeffrey NDC for a test. Afi second one ono ankasati ya wa admit say ono akra na ban ba na ye de no call baby so nkodi health insurance manager no almost won free one tea there was chaos. Kwame obekai the CEO regional coordinating council yede liaison officer national security on free say eastern region eba Ashanti region beka invisible forces MPP invisible forces data forces I'm not trying to justify or compare, but that is a challenge we have. Okay, live court, sitting judge, the so yeah, attack court and so on and so forth, all because of Yakophobia by Demno.
Political parties, where aggressive for power.
Okay. Sadly, when you see a politicize, there was a time be a young actors especially. And more say that is the order of the day. But young and you see a no politics, MPP, NDC, near community here, we organize our
David. As some American start to condemn because of me. Mama, practical example, David. And maybe the NDC for you have before
exactly.
And so I'm not condemning this in court.
Rollins time, I never saw that happening.
Now Rollins time, then I'm on the buy. I know. I didn't know.
Rollins time, no.
I didn't know. What I can't tell me, David just said to us, Rollins time. This is Robin office. I know how to be any blue.
Why not?
Education office.
Education office.
So we create you.
Whatever that it is,
it becomes a government agency.
Rollins time, no. I never heard say it will be ako different region. I'm will be a under. So
Baku ko onufru kwajenka fru hone ba
Nyamadonko. So you see the latest thing have both NDC and MPP a big challenger. I was seeing nyina factory and also near educate and call for no. Okay, the make council chat to cry and say, look, you should not be with the people. Ube hu omu ye ansa na omu ba weti omu mu asem ana waboa omu. Eno so no one challenger ewom.
Interesting.
The make akosi nyina ne say papa na ye de na free baby aba no. Obekwa akoduru ho na e bia sebi de me director aba na me kwa akochia no e bia mo bia onimu.
Ade mo.
Ono so a onimu no so na reception is very poor. And so on and so on.
But the point is this. Ajumano. First of all, and two, now appointments.
Exactly.
And nipa call your appointment no I we was we and a bit me aye bit my adwuma we amamo
just like coach putting up a team. So maybe the team I'm a coach. I don't go and say what do we born number 5 in
I no cry that problem I want my dear no yeah cabinet say
what time
my friends say my friends say oh kwa yeah ba health insurance one major problem I nya and another ne say President Kofona the health insurance buy and when or the buy no enipa of form nyina no. In fact, Kwame also research we health insurance, and the major and I said the single government institution.
And President Kufona the health insurance.
That's not health insurance.
Kwame health insurance. He said.
Oh,
it was Rollins.
As also ya no wada da bro no can be too
national.
To implement it.
Rollins is why you did that. Professor Mercy.
To implement it nationally.
Health insurance.
Yes.
Health insurance.
Yes.
Policy since
yes, Rollins.
During the Rollins time. And Catholic
Church
almost
on co-pilot
under the tutelage of President.
Oh, they are tutelage. Now, Rollins and what you have done. What you tell
President Rollins.
Professor
Mills never national health.
Master Jam Cram Crash.
Outside Kumasi hospital. It was mutual.
Mahama. Capitation grant. Mahama.
Oh,
Mahama.
Capitation in health. Oh, it was piloted in certain areas.
Professor Mills. Health insurance I deal with me train and answer my command make on National Health Insurance mbra Ghana about 2000 national health insurance. You need to be at the mutual health insurance.
Oh, but
I want to teach you. And say the management of the schemes must be mutual. And to this to be managing it here. Usika abejeje no no no.
It was also about saying
district be anya ne de sika mo bejeje no facilities e wo ho no money facilities no enko a partnership na mo fa
not be extended to a different district.
Nyabotre boy born wabon Kwame de na make ka che ne se me say health insurance ye ba ye no and I'm say me say is the single institution or ya ba adwuma ye te ya nipa wo no Kwame ko bi e 26 years e wa adwuma no mo ba ne age ankasa onu 50 years because omofa very young people and omofa omadwuma nti be bra ye adwuma ho with experience ba mu nyine ye ba ye no na do ya o MPP for friends say Sejo Mahama abeya adwuma na se for 40 health insurance na moro ye adwuma ho na NDC for anyi moro adia he say na moro or MPP youth organizer class and health insurance NDC abetwem no adane NDC ni enti aba ni chinchina yempa moro adakufo ado na make yo. That was one of the major issues I MPP for were dealing with. Because I'm for never constituencies and friends say, Ubi no health insurance in India because on your party. Simply because Mahama time no more yejuma. Some of these people baby
there are certain districts are still na MPP people, non-MPP people are heading.
No, me can't SMS is also Kwame Yabai.
I am Kohokran.
Yeah, this is what Ashanti me can't answer with you because I was involved. This is what Ashanti 25 I know had that time. A mobile 17 year transfer managers. A man new people like MPP for any more mobile head there. A transfer. You couldn't sack a manager. What do you mean? The other answer okay this time said they no can be here more when in ye into the end be brana national ye do be ko ha e no mo ba ye district managers wa Ashanti do no ma be gu CPC e dan ye wa kira offer KSCS a chia a Palmer school no e dan be na Palmer share our health insurance wa no mo process claims o ma friend district managers be bre ho no madam po mo because almost person the NDC for your managers for district. So they buy a drew her NDC for because you depend. It doesn't cause any problem, man. And to the Omoyan just no. I'm only condemning because and yet the best way. And so I got to office and said, "Mo be mama the service I would hoka." That is what I'm condemning. Politics, the politics aspect of it. The man, I'm involved. Yeah, quite anymore. Yeah, quite anymore. Yeah, baby, what? And yeah, baby, yeah, banana people for some person manager. Yeah, baby, I'm my managers. Over. Coming here because and now to a Ghana map on a state of Formus and that Abaye Poda say Iran da pampem and US the Bukuna and then the Kobe Biano or Mammy Atia say Bibi a cost will be as it me affect and try Ghana for bones so much so say Russia Ukraine war no cover no so 27 or my mu ye dia na nyama mu bone pass Kwame obi ankasa because obi ankasa ha ma menkyerɛ wo only problem only problem our Ghana say enti obi ankasa na first ekufo do time Kwame no we dede no na system no we dede no obi akoji bi di no ma mi o ma no nto o mo friend say o manfo no a o mo tie kɔtro aba no so ho atɔ mo and Professor Jampo a o hye baabi tio a champion o hye baabi obi a hye baabi nto no dede message say na media for so Kwame o mo dodo na akɔgye adamude na Mama and customers say okay, your microphone is off. Your microphone is off. No need idea, my mama junior must say Ghana for no sabi what Mr. Dennis Kwakwa never pada from energy maybe that way or da hon or mampon the ho na ye no other forum emra okay. So Nana Sabe Moria Kobo Alaji Abdul Salam, thank you so much. Radio on Pure 95.7.
David was faithful and was rewarded.